Hello, I'm John Tibbetts, and in the screening room today, I need hardly tell you, Julie Andrews, star of Blake Edwards' new motion picture, Victor Victoria. Julie, we think of My Fair Lady, The Boyfriend, Camelot, Mary Poppins, Americanization of Emily, on and on and on. This film, Victor Victoria, is really one of a number of films that you are in which you kind of get at a sweetness and light image that may still be in the public consciousness.
You mean try to break that sweetness and light image?
Well, I don't know. That's what I was going to ask you. How do you feel about that still?
I think really it's just a fabulous role, and I mean I'd be a fool to stay in a Mary Poppins or Sound of Music image all my life. I think people would be very bored with it, and I certainly would. And since I'm an actress, I'm really delighted to have different and varied roles to play, and Victor Victoria is just a wonderful thing for any actress.
And I was delighted to see you back again with James Garner after the Americanization of Emily. It's just been too long a time.
I endorse that. I was delighted to be back with James Garner.
Why such a long time, and how did you feel about getting back together?
Well, you know, the chances of people working together again that often, they're few and far between. I mean, first of all, you'd have to have the absolute perfect screenplay that could use those two people. It's about 18 years since Emily was made, but we've remained friends ever since, so this was just a pleasure for us both, I think.
One of the nicest aspects of Victor Victoria, I think, are some of the numbers in which apparently there's some improvisation going on. I'm referring specifically to a song and dance number you have with Robert Preston.
Yes.
Do you personally enjoy working that way in front of the camera, sort of just skating on out there, be it thin ice or not?
Well, although there certainly was some improvisation to begin with, by the time you've shot it 2 and 3 times and done different angles, it becomes a very established improvisation. So certainly in working out the song, there's that, but eventually it becomes a kind of pattern that you stick to.
Let's talk about clothes. We were talking before about how Victor Victoria might have an impact upon the way people dress these days. Do you seriously hope that this might be the case?
Well, I must say the clothes in the film are wonderful. It's kind of glamorous, and it goes back to an old way of dressing, you know, those wonderful, and certainly as a man, it was great fun to wear those, the white tie and tails and the marvelous hats and the suits.
And while we're at that, who did design the costumes?
A lady called Patricia Norris, and she's a fine designer, and she did a beautiful job on the film.
How about your hairstyles in the film? It does change perceptibly throughout.
Yes.
When you wear it very short, now it's even shorter in the film than we see now.
Yeah, it's true.
Are we still talking about styling that needs to be done when it's
Oh, yes. Every department in that film contributed an enormous amount to the final thing that you see. For instance, everybody felt that Victoria trying to play Victor would be, you know, a little unsure at first and wouldn't quite know how to look and behave, and as the film goes along, she gets more and more ease with the role and gets more assured, and so the hairstyle gets a little better and a little more debonair and handsome, and there are many subtleties like that I find very enjoyable.
And speaking of subtleties, the male mannerisms as Victor, one of your 2 roles in the film. Any coaching on the sidelines from, say, Bob Preston or something
Well,
like
I
that?
certainly asked his advice whenever I was in doubt, and James too. You know, and Blake, obviously.
Well, I'm not in any doubts, however. This is Julie Andrews I'm speaking with, not Victor. Best of luck on the motion picture.
Thank you.
I'm John Tibbetts, and I'll talk to you next time here in the screening room.